And welcome back to the episode of the Geek Centurions. It's me, your boy Dwyane.
It's me, Joe.
And we're going to have a really quick one, considering that we just recently talked about Shazam, Fury of the Gods, which is pretty decent in my opinion.
Yeah, it has, I guess it's been underperforming at the box office, which is why there's been some interesting news coming out recently about the movie.
And not only that, but also just like, we're getting a new DC slate. It's kind of like, why do we care what happens to Shazam? Even though we don't know 100% what's going to happen to him or anyone involved in that project.
Yeah, I guess it's more sort of like, man, I guess this is the reason why we need the DC film department needed a whole new restructuring. Needed to bring in James Gunn to help right the ship and like straight up, you know.
Yep, be the captain of this failing boat.
Yeah, because apparently from sources, there is a post-credit scene in.
By the way, I think we can go full spoiler on this one.
Yeah, because I think it's sort of like, yeah, I mean it's been a week, but I mean it's sort of like it's very big in the news right now. So I think if you haven't heard, then yeah, there is a post-credit scene in Shazam, where he gets talked to by the those two dudes, or the dude and the lady. If you don't know their names, I know they're in the show Peacekeeper.
Yeah, they're Peacemaker.
Peacemaker.
Yeah, it's the two. The one being played by James Gunn's wife. So they come in and try to essentially bring in Shazam into the Justice Society, which is like, it's kind of weird. We have Justice Society and Justice League.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, that's funny.
Yeah, he's just making fun of like, oh wait, is that the one with Wonder Woman? And he's like, why are you obsessed with Wonder Woman, dude? It's like, well, I mean, if it doesn't have Wonder Woman, then I'm not in, guys. I mean, also it's like Justice League, Justice Society. I mean, we gotta come up with some new names here. And then the punchline of the joke is just like, oh, here's another synonym: Avengers Society.
Ooh,
I like that one.
That's not familiar. But that was a good joke.
Which, yeah, it's like, I think it's probably the, like, out of all the times I think these Marvel and DC, the movies have ever referenced each other, I think the one I can think of is Internals, where the little kid's like, he's like Superman.
He's like, I'm not Superman. Don't wear a cape.
And then always here in DC where it's like Avengers Society. Oh, I like that name. Why does that sound familiar?
But more to the point, so that was the scene, but originally it wasn't supposed to be those two. Originally it was supposed to be Hawkman was supposed to recruit him. Mm-hmm. And someone by the name of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was very much like, no, screw that. I don't want that. I want Superman. I don't want to fight this grown ass man child. I want the actual man. I want the Superman.
Yeah, because if you haven't heard, this has been sort of a interesting thing. I think we touched about it a little bit when we reviewed Black Adam.
Yeah.
But Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson reportedly vetoed this cameo and credit scene because I guess he does not like the idea of attaching Black Adam to Shazam, even though Black Adam is one of Shazam's like most popular villains. He's his Green Goblin, damn it.
Yeah. No, it's his Venom, I would say.
Yeah, like a dark alter version of himself or whatever. But you know what I mean. Like, when you think of Shazam, you think of Black Adam too. Like those two are constantly beefing. But considering how much, I guess, creative control the Rock has had with his with the Black Adam character, he is straight up like, I mean, granted, it hasn't been confirmed from him himself, but these are like, I think, credible sources being like, hey, yeah, no, the Rock didn't want any of the Justice Society characters to show up actually on screen to like recruit him, because yeah, because I think you're right, Ellie. He does not. For as much as The Rock likes playing Black Adam, he does not want him to be related to Shazam, even though they have basically the same power set.
they have the same history, the same power set. It's a lot of things, right? And it's really weird, and I find it very weird that he's very much like, no, none of that. And and you can tell it's. I don't want to. Don't get me wrong. I like The Rock. I like him ever since his days in WWE.
Yeah, no, The Rock is a very charismatic and just fun guy, you know.
But he's going through a very much like a weird ego thing right now. Like he's very much worried about his brand. He wants to be like the big bad cool guy.
I mean, I think reportedly during when he was in the Fast and Furious franchise, he was upset about Vin Diesel's contract in those movies where he can't lose.
Yeah.
Like his report, like his character can't lose a fight. And then both The Rock and Jason Statham both got similar contracts when being in those movies or whatever, where it's like, we can't lose a fight. You know, it's like what the and I don't know if that stuff has technically carried over to anything The Rock has done recently.
No.
But it'd be very weird if it did, and it's like, so yeah, I mean, I it would be super weird if The Rock still has that contract in all his movies. Because can you imagine if he was in that Rampage movie? He's like, I can't lose this fight, and it's like, Rock, you're not gonna lose against a bunch of animals. We're not. You're the main character. I don't know. Yeah, I think you were right. You know, he wants to play a cool bad guy.
Yeah,
but he doesn't want to lose
either.
I mean, I guess because I know Black Adam he's been a villain for most of the time, but he's been recently like making a change to being an anti-hero. But he's
he still have villainous qualities.
Yeah, like I think the Venom comparison's an apt one, right?
Mm.
But yeah, you know, because I know for a fact, like I think his comic book origins, he straight up just steals the powers, right?
Something like that. It's been a while. I was never that into Shazam, but I knew like some of his lore, and like some of that you see in the movie. Mm-hmm. So that's mostly right. Though it's even funnier because like in the first Shazam, they mentioned Black Adam. And like in that movie, they're like, yeah, he betrayed us, and then he did so and so, and you see a little bit of that in Black Adam, as I recall.
Yeah, there is that segment where he's fighting all the wizards, and that's how he gets entombed. Mm. Heck, there's even I looked into it because I know we had a discussion a while back when I think the director, because there was a scene of them sitting in the chairs, right? The Shazam family.
Oh, the one that's been going around, and it's like this never happened in the theaters, but I'm like, I swear to God, I saw it in theaters.
Yeah, I looked into it. I think it wasn't in theaters because I looked at what post credit scenes there were.
Yeah.
In Shazam 1, it was which one was it? It was one where he was trying to talk to fish like Aquaman. He's like, oh, that's not one of my powers. But the other one is the one with the little worm. Oh, yeah, I remember now. Yeah, no, what I think happened, because I know for a fact they did show it, but I think they showed it on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Like, they posted it online, like, maybe a week or two after, as, like, I think it was supposed to be, like, an alternate post-credit scene or whatever. Yeah. Where it's, like, they're all sitting in the chairs, and it's like, that's weird. There's one chair, like, still open, though. Which, I guess is supposed to imply, Black Adam. Yeah. But now I'm starting to think, like, maybe the reason that wasn't in there is because The Rock was straight up like, no, I ain't hanging out with these pansies. I'm Black Adam. It's like, Rock, you're The Rock. No, I'm Black Adam now. I don't know. I mean, granted, there's been the whole joke that The Rock really wanted to play a superhero, but a superhero who could beat Superman. And I guess either he Googled it or he asked some random nerd on the street, like, who can beat Superman in a fight? It's like, well, I mean, a couple characters, I guess. I mean, technically, maybe Black Adam. It's like, Black Adam, he sounds kind of cool. I'm into that. Yeah. It very much sounds like that because, like, every time I think about it, it's like, he's very much interested in, like, shaking the world of DC. Dude, I think when they finally started like promoting Black Adam, like this movie will shake the foundations of the DC universe or something like that. Yeah. it changes the power dynamic, you know? And
Yeah.
it's like, what the
It's a very weird, like...
Could you imagine could you imagine Jared Leto walking into a stage and being like promoting Morbius, like Morbius is gonna change the landscape of Marvel superheroes?
It's like, no.
Granted, I'm not
Get out of here, Morbius.
I'm not comparing Morbius to Black Adam. I think Black Adam's clearly a more interesting and cooler character than Morbius, but they're both on, I think, on an equal level of like not that well known.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's like you can't really market it that well. Is all I'm saying. Like, it feels like it feels like you're overhyping a character that most people, especially regular people, not people who are into comics, know nothing about. Like, it is kind of shocking that Shazam was able to, be good at the box office when it came out, because it's like, yeah, Shazam is a popular character, but like back when he showed up, nowadays he's like very, like, under the radar.
Well, I mean, you also got to think about like the way Shazam, the whole legal battle for that name.
Yeah, his original name being Captain Marvel, and then DC suing them because he thought it was too much like Superman, so they had to give up that. And then Marvel coming out with actual Captain Marvel, but it's Marvel. And then it's complicated.
It's a whole thing. I'm pretty sure there's videos on YouTube though.
Oh yeah, there's definitely videos on YouTube that sort that out. It's
weird.
It's a weird. Copyright is just weird sometimes.
It's very weird. Yeah. Wait till Mickey Mouse gets in the middle of that.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna get on a tangent. I'm not gonna get on a tangent because it's not. It's technically the original Mickey Mouse Steamboat Willie that's going to be in the public domain.
Yeah.
So I think that's Disney's workaround, because they've been fighting so hard to keep Mickey, bro. But yeah, back to the subject at hand. It's super weird that The Rock somehow managed to get this creative control.
It really is, considering how much lack of control he has in other projects. He's very much into having control over this.
Yeah, it's because I'm trying to think of other properties where an actor has this much control. I mean, I guess maybe Tom Cruise in the Mission Impossible movies. Because remember when Henry Cavill was in those movies?
Oh yeah,
and they wanted to do reshoots for Justice League, but he had grown out a mustache, and they were like, people were just like, why don't you just shave off the mustache and put a fake mustache on for the Mission Impossible movie or whatever? And I think it was reported that Tom Cruise's death was like, no, absolutely not. You cannot do that. And that's why we have weird mouth Superman in Justice League, because they had to CGI his mustache.
Really weird.
Listen, all I'm saying is that Tom Cruise is partially responsible for the failure of Justice League, and I feel like more people should talk about that. I'm just saying.
You're not wrong. But yeah, no, and so what this comes into light is that he is very much not saying he isn't or wasn't ever, but it's making him look like not a team player within the DC universe.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, these are I wouldn't say ensemble films, but they're big projects. Everybody has to at least be on the same page and stuff. I mean, it's a wonder that the MCU is able to put out stuff. I mean, heck, I remember there was a news article when both Moon Knight came out, and then to the lead up of Thor: Love and Thunder, where Taika and I think the showrunner for Moon Knight straight up were talking about the implementation of the different pantheon of gods, because Moon Knight's very into the Egyptian god landscape and stuff, and then obviously Thor was meeting up with Zeus and stuff. So it's all right, how do we because there's the whole plot point in Love and Thunder where they go to the realm of the gods, basically. Yeah. Where all the gods hang out. So, yeah, I mean, you have to have those, sharing notes sort of thing. Okay, you're doing this? Okay. Yeah, all right, that makes sense. Let's, because all those movies, I mean, it's a connected universe, yeah, but, not everything's going to be, everybody has to be somewhat on a similar page of, okay, what are you doing here? Okay, let me sure, I want to make sure I don't step on your toes here. But this is the opposite of the case, where The Rock is hey, no one's touching any characters from Black Adam movie, all right? They're my characters. And it's no, Brock, it's all part of the DC universe. You're all part of the DC universe. You gotta, Cher, you have to fight Shazam at some point. No, I ain't fighting no scrangly kid. I ain't gonna lose to some kid. It's like, Rock, this isn't you. This is just a character you're playing.
Yeah, right.
That's what it feels like, right?
It does. And again, not to bash on The Rock, because I've always grown up to liking The Rock, like I said
Yeah,
before.
no, yeah.
I love him in WWE. He was always one of my favorite characters to play in any video games.
He was a Scorpion King.
He was a Scorpion King. But then again, if you think about it, it's been going on since probably the Scorpion King.
I mean, I guess because in Mummy 2, he was the weird scorpion monster thing. But then he got his own spin-off movie.
Yeah.
Where he
was a total badass.
Yeah.
And I love that movie.
And there's a whole bunch of Scorpion King sequels that don't have The Rock in it.
Which is weird.
Definitely weird. Very weird.
Very weird.
But yeah, it's like, because Robbie Downey Jr. didn't do that with his Marvel contract. He wasn't like, no, I'm going to make these movies the way I want. He had 3 movies, and then like Marvel had to keep begging him to come back, so they gave him more money.
Yeah.
It's like, like that doesn't seem like that happened with The Rock.
To be fair, like he's willing to do it too.
Yeah, he was willing to do it. It's like, yeah, like
he loves the universe just as much as any of the fans.
Yeah, I mean, some could say like it helped him revitalize his career. After his whole stint with like drug rehab and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like Iron Man made him a household name again. He has a lot of.
He seems like a fun guy.
Yeah, but it's because I think the big take that most people have been taking from this whole situation has been, it seems like like The Rock might have had a bit too much creative control in how he wanted this movie to go out.
Yeah.
And maybe that's partially the reason why the movie underperformed at the box office as well.
There's also the rumored of like him, or has it been confirmed that he kind of tampered with the money, where like they say it made this much money, but it actually didn't.
I have heard stuff like that. I don't think it's been confirmed at all.
Yeah,
that'd be very odd. Like, I'm guessing he's like inflating the numbers. Is what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think that's been confirmed, but I think it's been rumored that. Yeah. Which, I mean, that would be kind of.
Yeah. No. So going back to the whole thing with him and Zachary and Shazam, this. Zachary Levi posted it on social media, is that, hey, we were supposed to have this guy, but apparently The Rock was like, nah, we don't want to do that. Which is caused like a real life fight almost, not an actual fist,
like a beef,
like a small little beef, I would say,
between the actors that play Shazam and Black Adam. Granted, I don't think The Rock has responded to any of that.
Yeah,
I think he's just doing other stuff at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's when an actor, sort of your coworker essentially, does this as well, where it's like, yeah, no, straight up, that is entirely true. The Rock straight up was like, no, you can't have any of these characters in this movie, and yeah, it sucks for us.
Yeah, it kind of does. Go for it,
because I don't know, like, it definitely seems like, because I know some people have been kind of somewhat defending The Rock's decisions, or at least his ability to have this much control, because obviously The Rock was a key person in helping bring Henry Cavill back to the role of Superman for a little bit. Like, it's been pretty much said that like part of that they wanted to do, like, okay, The Rock wanted that Superman cameo at the end of the movie or the post-credit scene. But they were going to do like like they did in Shazam, like no face Superman or whatever. And The Rock was very like, no, it has to be Henry Cavill. All right, you got to bring him back. All right. Mm-hmm. And, for a lot of fans, yeah, that was neat to see. But I don't, on the other hand, I don't think that's necessarily a good enough reason to defend The Rock for all the other stuff he's been doing. Because it's like, okay, one good decision doesn't mean you're good at what you're doing, right?
No, not at all. It's kind of like funny that people are like willing to defend him, but at the same time, like, considering how much in charge he was with Black Adam, it's kind of like funny. It's kind of like, people are saying, oh, but he did this, but at the same time, he made like a very kind of mid movie.
Yeah, it's sort of just like, it's not. It's like there's not a whole lot of reasons to defend The Rock for all the stuff he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, I think, unprofessional the way he's sort of handling this sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's I don't. Maybe James Gunn and his like moving forward of the DC universe, because we have the seeing like the stuff they've announced and stuff for like future plans, whatever. And I think none of them involve any of the Shazam characters or Black Adam
as of yet.
I mean, we don't know. I mean, it would be kind of it would kind of suck because I do like Zachary Levi as Shazam. I think he works out very well. And I think part of the reason why the whole dynamic between Shazam and Black Adam is the way it is because I'm pretty sure like it's sort of like Black Adam in the comics is like, you don't deserve the power, you're just a kid. This is this is BS, bro. And it's like, yeah, but like the argument's like, no, I was chosen by the wizard. I have all the good qualities that make a good hero and stuff, and you're just a bad guy.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things where like I don't think he wants that kind of thing. He doesn't want to be like be the one beaten by anybody. It very much seems like an ego thing, and it's kind of sad because like I think The Rock could be a very good villain.
He has been a good villain, at least in WWE. Like that's how he started.
Yeah, he started off as a heel.
Yeah, like he was a 2-bit wrestler that people didn't like, and then eventually he used that to fuel like, at least in terms of the story, like now I'm The Rock, I'm a badass. Screw you guys, screw everybody.
Yeah, because he used to go by Rocky Johnson, right?
No, Rocky Maivia.
Ah.
Yeah, Rocky Maivia, and then people would just chant "Die Rocky Die" at him because it's like they didn't like him that much. And then he got to the point where it's like, screw you guys. All right, chanting Rocky Die. And, there's a whole, I think, there's probably videos that just sort of detail his sort of like rise and that stuff. And he became such a good heel, people liked him. And then that's how he became, face.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you can't hate The Rock. Look at how cool he is,
I mean, the same thing happened to John Cena, actually.
Yeah, it's very true. John Cena was a no-name wrestler. Then he got
You can look it up too. His first match was with Kurt Angle. I like how the first comment on that video is like he looks like one of those custom the custom characters.
Custom created characters in the wrestling games.
Yeah,
like the default setting.
Yeah,
just like Joe Random here. It's like, yeah, you're right. And then he develops that sort of the persona,
the white boy rapper.
Eminem, but if he was a wrestler,
yeah,
but
and then he was a bad guy because I remember a lot of people didn't like him.
Yeah, he changed the WWE title, Ellie. He had an old spinner thing. People didn't like that. That was too radical.
Yeah,
and then he became the face of the company.
Yeah, he literally became like he was like the hero of the thing.
Like he was basically a real life superhero in the WWE.
Yeah,
but yeah, and it's funny because now John is also into superhero movies as Peacemaker. And I think he acknowledges, like, he's able to do the villain role pretty well.
Yeah, he does.
And,
like, even in his show, it's like, he's a villain, but he's got a good heart.
Yeah, like, I feel like that's what you would want from The Rock to do, but I don't know. I guess, maybe it's like, because I know sometimes in wrestling, you're supposed to, like, take the fall.
Yeah.
To help promote a new guy, and sometimes, I'm guessing, from what I understand, some wrestlers don't like doing that because it hurts their image.
You think it's one of those things?
Maybe. Like, it's like a holdover from his wrestling times. Granted, I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not. This is me speculating, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just sort of like The Rock feels like he's a top dog actor or performer or whatever in Hollywood, and he can just do all these action stuff. He doesn't want to now be like a bad guy heel character in a superhero movie, and like obviously have to be losing against a character, especially if it's Shazam, who is whole shtick is a kid who turns into a superhero kind of thing. I think that's why he likes the idea of him just fighting Superman, because I mean it's Superman.
If you lose, you lose to Superman.
Yeah, it's like those old comics where Superman fought against Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Kind of things.
It's like, shit, Muhammad Ali beat up Superman.
But he's a comic book character, though. He's not real.
Shut up. It was still pretty cool. And like, I think you're right. I think you're right. It's probably a holder of that kind of mentality. And again, like, I don't think The Rock is a terrible actor. I think he's pretty, like, serviceable. He does love a lot of the projects he's on. And that's clear as day.
Yeah, like, if you see his interviews with the Jumanji cast, like, he has fun on those movies, it seems like.
Yeah, and, like, I think everyone has talked really much well about him. I think it's just, like, it's this little bit of an ego thing. But, like, he is very passionate about a lot of the projects he's on. That's something that, you can't take away from him.
I mean, yeah, you could argue he had a lot of passion for Black Adam.
Yeah.
Because they were working on that movie for how long?
Forever. Longer than I think it should be.
Yeah, and straight up, he still was committed to, like, bringing it out and, like, doing that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe, I guess at this point, maybe it's just a pride thing,
Yeah.
Where it's like, maybe he acknowledges that the movie underperformed, and maybe the whole idea of him being stuck as a Shazam villain is, like, demoralizing to him. It was like, no, I wanted it to be something bigger.
Yeah.
I don't want to be just a side character in this other character's sort of pantheon.
Mm-hmm.
I want it to be my own thing.
And he can do that.
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, Venom has somehow been able to be its own thing.
Yeah, but and like Venom has like years and years of stuff in the comics where going from villain to anti-hero to hero to god at this point. I'll explain to you later.
Symbiotes, man, are weird.
Yeah, they are very weird. But and like, so I can kind of understand him from that point, right? Because like one, he's a very passionate. Because I still remember when he was upset about how critics were talking about what was that movie? Was it The Jungle Cruise or something like that?
Maybe.
Yeah, because I remember one time like critics were like bashing on a movie, and he was like, "Hey, screw you guys, we did a good job in this movie," kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like clearly like probably the best example is him in Moana. Like he thrived in that one.
Yeah, like he played a very I remember that movie, and he was Maui. I mean, granted, that movie, like, they definitely went hard in trying to be like culturally accurate to Pacific Islanders and that whole diaspora where the movie sort of draws its lore from.
Yeah.
So I mean, having The Rock there, I mean, obviously he loves being when he gets to promote his cultural background of being a Samoan. I mean, heck, his Fast and the Furious spin-off movie,
Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah, straight up, like, I think the climax, they go back to his family, and they're just doing a whole, bit where he's Samoan, and they, like, there's a whole, like...
They do a Samoan warrior dance.
Yeah, like, obviously, The Rock is very passionate about that background,
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I could imagine him being like, hey, listen, all right, you can't be talking bad about this movie, all right? We worked hard. So I understand that sort of feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, every actor, I think, feels that way. It's very rare that an actor will be like, oh, this movie sucked. I hated working on this movie. I just got my paycheck and I'm out.
Which can be for some people.
I mean, yeah, probably for some people. I mean, I feel like it's probably for, like, a lot of older actors. Like, I feel like Marlon Brando was just, like...
Oh, yeah, Marlon Brando was very much like he didn't want to do most a lot of his stuff.
It's like, I'm just here for a paycheck.
Yeah.
I mean, you could argue Harrison Ford was like that for Episode 7.
Yeah. But I think he was a little more happy to do it because he knows he knew he was going to be done with it. I remember everyone was like, oh my god, they're bringing back Han Solo. And I'm like, he's going to die.
I mean, yeah, because that's what he was like in the original trilogy, where it's like, George,
you got to kill me off.
Listen, you got to kill me.
I don't care about any of this.
I don't care about any of it. I mean, so, yeah, obviously.
Indiana Jones, though.
I think I remember there was a bit, I forget with what, one of those late night show hosts where he's like, hey, what can you tell about the next Star Wars, Harrison Ford? And it's like, you got $20 on you? It's like, yeah. I heard they're making a new one. Because that's the level of extent he's done. Although I think Harrison Ford looks more with the new Indiana Jones movie, he looks more happy to do those. I guess I don't know. I guess he just has more fun with the Indiana Jones movies than Star Wars. I think it's just because Star Wars has a bunch of space stuff, and he's like, I don't care. I'm just shooting stuff. That's all I do.
Yeah, and going back to The Rock, I think it's one of those things where he's very passionate about this project. He didn't want to, like you said, look like he was just a side character, which is funny because I feel like you can like find a way, maybe negotiate a way where you can do both, where you're kind of a side character in this guy's movie, or in like better terms, a villain, but also like this is your own story you can like expand upon it, kind of like what they did with Godzilla vs. Kong,
or like what happened with John Cena and Peacemaker.
Yeah.
Like, it happens before. Like, this stuff happens in a lot of these comic book movie stuff. I mean, yeah, it took a while, but Scarlett Johansson did get her Black Widow movie. Granted, given the circumstances, it did not end well for that.
Yeah.
Which, sucks, because I thought it was an okay movie, but, there's a whole can of worms. Obviously, Hawkeye got his own TV show, which I heard it was solid. Like, just a lot of, like, spin-offs for various characters, right?
Yeah. And that could also happen to him. And I really hope he gets something like that. Though we don't know, because nowadays, I don't know if he wants to continue doing Black Adam with, like, everything in charge.
I mean, James Gunn hasn't really said much about it. I think he's open to the idea of having, this stuff be continued, but, I mean, we don't know. It's all in the future, and we can't predict the future.
And that's we're going to end it right there. If you guys liked what you heard, be sure to follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We're most active on Instagram, where you'll find out in the future all the podcasts that we're officially part of, like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, all the like. We also have a link to the YouTube for all you audio listeners out there who would like to put a face to the voice. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you want to support us, we do have a Patreon. It's mostly just there for any kind of support, really. And yeah, it's been us talking about The Rock. hopefully it turns out well for him.
I mean, he's The Rock. He'll
be fine.
He'll bounce back.
Yeah.
It's just more of like, I think at the end of the day, this is just a clear example of like, man, DC film division is very disorganized.
That it is. Hopefully it'll be better. Anyways, guys, me, your boy Eli.
It's me, Joe.
You guys have a good one. Peace.